There is only one conclusion in the Yellowstone franchise that does not involve the death of a well-liked main character, and that is Kevin Costner's show. Within the Yellowstone series, there are 3 different sagas. It all began with the titular series starring Kevin Costner, in which he played the role of John Dutton III. Following the success of Taylor Sheridan's original series, which turned out to be one of the most popular shows on television, he went on to develop 2 prequels titled 1883 and 1923, which portrayed the story of John's predecessors during their respective eras. Harrison Ford and Helen Mirren were the leading actors in the cast of 1923, while Tim McGraw and Faith Hill, 2 country musicians, were the leading actors in the cast of 1883, playing the roles of James and Margaret Dutton. All of the existing Yellowstone shows have come to an end after the conclusion of the Dutton saga in April 2025, which was the conclusion of the 2nd season of 1923. After the death of their father, Beth, Kelly Riley, and Case Dutton, Luke Grimes, were left with unresolved issues to the conclusion of Yellowstone Season 5, which was the final episode of the series. Kevin Costner's series came to an end without him in the previous year. Even though the Yellowstone franchise has now produced 3 satisfying endings and 3 satisfying finales, only one of them spared us the heartbreak of witnessing the death of a much-loved character in the final episode. Regardless of which Dutton character you find most endearing in your book, it is likely that your favorite member of the Dutton family made it to the conclusion of Yellowstone's series, provided that they were still alive at the beginning of the story. John Dutton, a character who is beloved by viewers and considered to be the show's beating heart, unfortunately did not make it to the conclusion of the series. By the time Yellowstone Season 5, Episode 9 aired, John had already passed away. This episode marked the beginning of the second half of the last season. Regardless of whether you choose Beth, Case, or possibly even Rip, Cole Hauser, the subsequent generation of Dutton ranchers persevered, which allowed their stories to continue to the present day. In comparison to the deaths of other Yellowstone characters, Jamie's passing was not nearly as significant. Beth and Rip go to a ranch near Dillon, Montana, at the conclusion of the 5th season of Yellowstone. There, they begin a new business venture that they will most likely manage in their spin-off show, Dutton Ranch, which will be shown on Amazon Prime Video. Additionally, Case was given a new beginning at the conclusion of Yellowstone, which allowed him to leave his previous career as livestock commissioner behind him. His tale will be continued on CBS in a procedural series that is dubbed Why? Marshals. Jamie, played by Wes Bentley, passed away while Case, Beth, and practically all of the cowboys from Yellowstone Ranch were still alive. On the other hand, the passing of Jamie was not nearly as tragic as the deaths of other Yellowstone characters. The conclusion of Yellowstone stands in stark contrast to the conclusion of Taylor Sheridan's other series. We are witness to the passing of Elsa Dutton, Isabel May, at the end of the year 1883. She was possibly the most talented Dutton that Montana has ever seen. The oldest members of the Dutton family tree embark on a voyage to Montana along the Oregon Trail, which is the earliest set Yellowstone prequel. Elsa Dutton is the driving force behind this prequel. By virtue of the fact that Elsa is the narrator of the series, viewers are able to develop a close relationship with the character. This is because her narration is packed with insights into her continually shifting worldview. The story comes to a close with Elsa's passing in 1883, which marks the beginning of a pattern for Yellowstone. In addition to being a momentous event for the conclusion of the 1883 series, it was also a landmark for the franchise. In the wake of James's daughter's realization that she would pass away, Elsa expresses her desire to select the location of her burial, which ultimately leads to the establishment of the Yellowstone Dutton Ranch. After having a profound grasp of her character, the audience was heartbroken to part ways with Elsa Dutton. As a result, her passing was a tragedy for the franchise, despite the fact that it was characterized by a calm and ethereal atmosphere. In the final episode of the year 1883, Elsa passes away while James is holding her, and she later meets her husband Sam, played by Martin Sensmeyer, in the afterlife. In a similar manner, we lose Alex Dutton, Julia Schlepfer, at the conclusion of the 2nd season of 1923, and she is the Dutton who we had hoped to see survive the most. During her journey through the United States, Alex is subjected to a series of terrifying events. She is willing to endure the worst in order to reunite with her husband, Spencer Dutton, Brandon Sklenar, and to deliver the child that she is carrying to him. In the end, Alex Dutton is able to make it to Montana, where she is able to meet up with her husband by chance after she flags down his train. However, Alex passes away due to difficulties from hypothermia, a condition that she developed as a result of spending an excessive amount of time in the harsh winter of 1924. Alex ultimately decides against having her limbs removed, which would have been a potentially life-saving procedure. As a result of the choice, we are forced to witness the passing of the second central Yellowstone character, who we had anticipated would continue to participate in the final episode of the series. Now that all 3 series have come to a conclusion, it is evident that Yellowstone did not follow the pattern. However, it is possible that the death of John Dutton was always supposed to occur in the final episode, possibly prior to Kevin Costner's departure from Yellowstone. It would have been more significant if John had passed away in the conclusion, just as Alex and Elsa Dutton's endings in Yellowstone would have been more unforgettable.